Welcome to Big South Member Recognition Week. As this week we profile the Longwood Lancers and welcome in new softball coach Dr. Megan Brown for this series of Get to Know. Coach, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to talk to you this afternoon, and let's just jump right into it. This is your first head coaching job. What attracted you to the Lancers opening, and what does it mean to you to be taking over one of the Big South's top programs?
Well, when I first saw that Coach Riley had decided to announce her retirement, the opening immediately caught my eye. Coach Riley has such a tremendous reputation within our sport and within coaches, and the program I've known of for so many years, and the great success and the legacy that has been established here through our amazing alumni and former players and current players as well. So immediately, yes, you definitely want to take a look at a position like this. But then as you start kind of doing the deeper dive of what is the program truly about, the things that you don't know just kind of from the outside perspective, and just saw how much tradition there is, what a beautiful campus we're blessed to be on, and just so many great people in and around. Our administration is amazing. They do an amazing job supporting our programs, all of our programs, but softball in particular. And then, just looking at the opportunity to work for an AD who played your sport is always a unique opportunity. Most coaches don't have the opportunity to work for someone who kind of had been in their shoes at some point during their career. And then just seeing the professional, but also the personal investment that Director Meadows has in our program, just so many things. And then as you come on campus and you do the interviews and you talk to more and more of the players and the administration, as soon as I finished my interview here, I knew if they offered, I was going to be excited to accept. So it was kind of an easy decision, especially once I did all the research and went through the process.
So at some point, I'm sure you would like to have a conversation with Coach Riley on the success of the program as well as the conference. But what would be some of the first questions you would ask her when you do have that chance to talk to her?
I would say, what's the recipe to the secret sauce? You want to know how do you put more of these trophies you won that are sitting behind me? How do you add more to the shelf of all the details, I tell our team, all the things that we have going on, just managing players and continue to develop them as young women and grow the sport and grow your program. Would love a few little scouting tips on our conference rivals. I'm sure there's a lot of good ins and outs that she knows with so many great coaches within our conference. I know you need the inside track to be successful. So would love to hear that, and just any wisdom someone who is of that caliber and that level can pass on is always welcomed and good to hear.
So when did you get to first meet your team, I guess either via remotely or in person, and what have you told them about yourself and your vision for the program?
Well, actually, I was very fortunate during the interview process. Several of our young ladies actually were on one of the panels that I met with. So I got an opportunity to interact with them even during that process. During the announcement phase, the kids weren't back on campus yet, so we were doing remote via Zoom. So I met them the first time via Zoom, and then had an opportunity that over the next few days to really just meet with them one-on-one on Zoom. But the big thing was just sharing that, the program is in a really great place. Recognizing the tremendous amount of hard work each one of them has put into building this program, and not just this particular set of young ladies, but all of the previous members of our team over the many, many years that we've had a program. So seeing that we're in a great place, and we want to continue to build on great foundations that have been laid for our program. And just, let's dream big. Let's go and continue to push the edges of our ability and see how far this road will go.
So as a former All-American and professional pitcher, how does your pitching background translate to coaching other facets of the club, such as hitting and defense?
Well, one of the things about a pitcher is you kind of get to see both sides, and you see it from a different perspective. Hitters see pitchers as basically divas in our little circle out there. But as a pitcher, you really get to study hitting, and you study it from many perspectives, not just simply how do we get a hitter out, but why are hitters successful, and what are ways that hitters really monopolize when pitchers make errors and make mistakes. And so being able to look at our offense and say, okay, how would I approach us if we were I was pitching against us, coaching a team against us, and then how can we solidify that? And then what are the true traits of a successful offense? And how can we continue to build towards those? And then from a defense, just all the little fundamentals, so many fundamentals and so many skills translate very simply one to the other when you look at the movement patterns and how to increase efficiency, increase power in our movements. So there's a lot of carryover that people don't necessarily realize. So it's fun to look at the game from different perspectives, but I think the strategy of pitching really opens your eyes to strategy in all areas of our game.
Going back to your professional career, what were some of the experiences that you got to enjoy? Where did you play? Who did you play with? Any notable strikeout victims? Any specific successes that you could share with us?
Playing professionally was just an amazing experience. Absolutely amazing opportunity. I was signed as a free agent right out of college, played a year for the Mid-Michigan Ice up in Midland, Michigan, and actually had an opportunity. Coach Cole over at Gardner-Webb actually came and coached our team for half of our season. So I've actually played for one of our conference coaches and truly enjoyed that. He's an amazing coach and just such a dear man. So that was an awesome experience. I'm excited to be in the same conference coaching alongside of him now. So that was fun. Played for the Rockford Thunder for 2 years, had an opportunity to win an NPF championship. So anytime you have an opportunity to win a championship at that level, it's a pretty cool experience. The team chemistry that you have to build to do that is just amazing. Had an opportunity to play overseas 4 different summers. Played in Italy for a couple of years, played in Holland, got the chance to coach and play in the UK, and played it in multiple European Cups. Got to play with the British national team a little bit at the World Cup in Oklahoma City. And so there's been a lot of opportunities to play against and with Olympians and so many other All-Americans, pro players. A lot of great experience, a lot of great friendships, and moments I won't ever forget.
So when did you realize you wanted to get into coaching?
Honestly, when I was in college, as I was finishing up college, kind of really, thinking about, praying about what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What's your next step? And after really being prayerful about it and seeking some good counsel, just felt like coaching was kind of what I was called to do. And so from there, just pursued the different paths that you have to do, kind of earn your stripes going through. And to me, it's real simple. It's just kind of what I'm supposed to do.
So with that, you have a PhD in kinesiology and a master's in education. So what led you to pursue those 2 degree levels? Do you have any particular plans with them, either as a coach and or post coaching?
Well, it kind of was multifaceted for the whole degrees. One is never allowing a degree to limit professional opportunity, especially in coaching now. Master's degrees are pretty well required, especially for a head coach. So I knew that was going to be a major piece just from a coaching standpoint you needed to have. The PhD was a little more of a opportunity to kind of expand my knowledge of how people acquire skill. Because at the end of the day, coaching is how do you get them to get it? Whatever the it you're trying to teach them is, how do you get them to get it? And so the PhD with a research base and the focus on learning styles and how people actually process information to be able to use it in a way to enhance skill just kind of was a great way to enhance my coaching ability. So it was kind of simple. Also, it gives me an opportunity, especially when I first started coaching. I also was a professor. I taught kinesiology. I taught anatomy and physiology. And so getting the PhD and working towards it during that time allowed me to teach a little bit. So kind of helped with some of that. But long-term plan is to stay in the coaching field. But the research aspect of the PhD is definitely helpful when we're looking at strategy and game planning.
That's all great to know and interesting for sure. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some little lighter things as we get close to wrapping up. But the first question from that side is at what age did you start playing softball, and when did pitching become your specialty?
Well, I actually started playing ball when I was about 7. My older brother's Little League team didn't have enough players, and my dad was the coach. So they threw me in right field, and I was quite horrible. And so I struck out every at bat. I missed every ball they hit. So pretty much started out as a horrible Little League player. but loved the sport. I actually loved the whole atmosphere of it. And so the next year, kind of like, can I play softball now? And so my parents swapped me over. But being from Georgia at that time, it was all slow pitch. I was actually a middle infielder, believe it or not. And so until I was 13, we didn't have fast pitch. I actually played on the first fast pitch team in our county. And at that point, I was a catcher. I was like, yeah, I like being a catcher. Here we go. And our team didn't have a pitcher. So I was like, well, I'll try that. That sounds like fun. And then I guess the rest is history. I kind of fell in love with that and a little bit of love for pitching and kind of running the game from there. So stayed with that.
Who were some of your softball idols growing up?
When I was a young pitcher, I was about 15. I had an opportunity to work with Cindy Bristow when she was at the ISF. She's the pitching coach at UC Riverside now, but went down to Plant City, Florida, and was throwing with her. And out walked on the U.S. Olympic team was in town training, and we were kind of playing on their field in between their training session. And Lisa Fernandez walked out in left field to just get a little extra work in. And I just absolutely loved watching her pitch. Her ability to dominate not just the circle or the hitter, but the entire arena, to me was always just impressive. So she was just someone you just had to love to watch play. Sure, there were some people who didn't love to hit off of her, but just her ability to dominate a game in an environment was just very, very intriguing to a young pitcher.
So is there a national or global event that you have never attended but would like to?
I've had the opportunity to attend several world championships when I was coaching with Great Britain and handling their pitching. I think the ultimate event every player or coach wants to attend is an Olympic Games. So would love an opportunity to coach a team to an Olympics. I think that would be I think that every sport fan, that's the event you want to attend.
So going back to your heyday as a pitcher, using that for this question of who on the current Lancers squad would be able to hit a home run off of you?
Well, at my current age, they all should be able, up to the ones that are pitchers who don't even hit. They should all be able to hit a home run off me nowadays. But my prideful side says, back in the day, I'd like to think I could keep them at bay, but that'll just be a debate for the ages.
If you could pick anyone to have a game of catch with, who would that be?
Oh, goodness. I would probably say for the opportunity to pick their brain on things would be either like a Lisa Fernandez or a Michelle Granger, just to, all right, tell me how you used to throw and make all these hitters look so silly back in the day.
And our last question as we wrap up, what is something about you that your team has not yet learned, but it would be surprised to know about?
Probably the first thing, there's two things they would be. One, I'm the most boring person alive, so I try to keep that at bay. I'm glad this is being published now. But so keep some mystery in there, not tell them that too soon. But probably the thing most people don't realize is I actually, when I played overseas, hit. And most people always see me as a pitcher and not as someone who ever hit. I guess my, one highlight as a hitter is I actually did hit a home run off of Tanya Harding from Australia. She was an Olympian for them. She hung a drop ball and I think ran into my bat, to be quite frank. But that's my glorious moment as a hitter. And I was so shocked watching the ball go over the fence, I tripped over first base. But we don't have to tell everybody that.
All right. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time and letting us get to know you better. We wish you all the best of luck in your first season with the Lancers. And again, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.